I'm gonna finally watch this video about Nimuvt.
Imagine climbing to the top of your industry, only to burn it all down with your own hands. This is the story of Nimuvt, once the face of Latin American VTubing, now one of the most controversial figures in its history.
Really?
Plagued by scams, manipulation, and controversy so severe, it even drove one of her fans to a attempt. This isn't just another internet drama. This is the full story of how one of VTubing's biggest stars lost everything and became one of the most hated VTubers in history.
Okay, well, the intro got me. I'm here for it now.
Nimuvt is widely regarded as one of the pioneers of Spanish-speaking VTubing.
Wow.
Not only was she early to the scene, she dominated it. By September 2020, she had the largest following of any ESP VTuber across all major platforms.
Wow.
In August 2020, she had already hit 250,000 followers on her Facebook page. By July 2021, she reached 500,000 followers on Twitch. And by September, she had crossed 1 million followers on Twitch.
Oh my god.
And in November 2021, she became the first ES VTuber to reach 1 million YouTube subscribers.
Wow.
Her path to stardom wasn't traditional. Before VTubing, Nimu managed meme and not safe for work content pages on Facebook between 2017 and 2019. These pages were monetized, and she used the income to support her family during tough times. Her deep knowledge of Facebook ecosystem gave her a massive head start when she started streaming. And that's why, instead of Twitch or YouTube, Nimu began her VTuber journey on Facebook Gaming, a platform that was still widely used in Latin America. The strategy worked. Her content blew up, and she quickly became the leading VTuber voice in the Spanish-speaking world. But the fame came with a price, and soon the cracks began to show. She was everywhere. She dominated platforms, but the same ambition that fueled her rise would later fuel her downfall. The first real controversy in Nimu's career came on September 3rd, 2020, and it left a lasting mark on her reputation.
Okay.
A relatively unknown VTuber named Sui, who streamed under the alias of Loli7U7 at the time, was doing a quiet stream with about 150 viewers.
Okay.
Out of nowhere, Nimu
Sorry, a quiet stream with 150 viewers. That's not really a quiet stream. I know it doesn't seem like that many people, but 150 viewers? Like, you're in the top 1% probably.
entered her chat and publicly accused her of stealing a model. Nimu said she personally knew the original artist, Amakoke, and warned Sui that the model was only for personal use, not for streaming. She claimed she was just trying to help prevent future trouble. But here's what she got wrong. Sui actually had permission. The model was sourced from the Steam workshop and was based on the Vocaloid Kizuna Akari. According to the terms of service, stream usage was allowed as long as the user wasn't monetizing, and Sui wasn't. Her channel was not generating income. Despite this, Nimu still pushed her accusation. The interaction left Sui visibly upset, and she ended the stream in tears. That moment spread across the community.
Yeah, I think that that's super disrespectful. Like, to go into someone's live stream and tell them while they're live is not okay. Like, creator to creator, you have to, like, go into their DMs and tell them if you think something like that's going on. Like, you can't go into someone's live stream and tell them. Like, it's gonna fuck everything up while they're live. And they can't do anything about it while they're live. And she's a streamer. She should know better. Yeah, that was so intentional.
And backlash against Nimu started almost immediately. The public quickly turned on Nimu, calling the move cruel and unnecessary.
Yeah.
But instead of de-escalating, Nimu made things worse with a comment on her own Discord server where she said, "My followers were going to call her a copy of me anyways, and the people that were saying how we were a toxic / shitty fandom just because of that, like girl. If you use a character so similar to the most famous late-time VTuber, I don't know what you expected." The arrogance and defensiveness of the message hit hard. What should have been a minor misunderstanding spiraled into a community-wide backlash.
Oh my god.
Facing criticism, Nimu posted a public apology on September 6th. She stated that she and Sui had talked privately and resolved the issue. But she also blamed her behavior on PMS and being hormonal, a justification many saw as tone-deaf and dismissive. Despite everything, Sui came out strong. She rebranded, got her own custom model, and continued streaming. Some fans still falsely believe that Nimuvt destroyed her career, but Sui is still active and doing well today. In the end, the two seem to have genuinely moved on from the situation. But for Nimuvt, the damage was already done. This was the first time the community saw an ugly side of her public persona, one that would become harder to ignore as time went on. Then, at the height of her popularity, Nimuvt launched her first piece of official merch, a plushie of her space cat mascot. The little slime-like creature that sits on top of her VTuber avatar's head. The plushies were sold for around $24 USD through a third-party company called Onage. Not makeshift, but a similar kind of limited-run merch platform.
That's cute.
On paper, it looked like a standard drop, but the aftermath was anything but normal. Fans who bought the plushie began reporting that months were passing without any updates. Some waited 7 months, others nearly a full year with no plushie, no shipping info, and no refund. Nimuvt eventually addressed the situation, saying that Onage wasn't responding to her messages. She had never received her share of the payment, and that she herself had been scammed by the merch partner. But her response raised more questions than it answered. To many fans, it seemed like she was more concerned about not being paid than about helping the people who had spent money on her product. And even though the plushies were marketed as limited time, fans noticed that the site continued to accept orders and process payments for a while after. Whether or not Nimuvt was personally at fault is up to debate. But it showed something deeper. Nimuvt didn't take responsibility, and more importantly, she didn't protect the people who trusted her. This wasn't a scandal that blew up overnight, but in hindsight, it hinted at a pattern of self-interest over accountability. And
I mean, that's fair. It seems like to me, in the heat of the moment, it reminds me of another scandal. Not scandal, but like a creator who was scammed out of money. I don't remember. I think it was like they paid for like video editing or like animation or something, a large creator, and they basically got scammed out of it. It kind of gives that vibe, like the same thing. Like you can think you're working with someone reputable, but they could also just run at any point in time. However, the difference is like it was just the creator that got scammed. And with this, it's the creator and the fans. So like, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, there's only so much that a creator can do if a manufacturer just like goes dark. But I think there's probably a way to address it that's a lot better. You know? I don't know.
soon that pattern would become impossible to ignore. In early 2022, Nimuvt took her audience by surprise with what she claimed was a complete accident. During an IRL stream sometime around January or February, she accidentally flipped her phone camera while wearing a black face mask. Half of her face was revealed live, and just like that, Nimuvt was doxxed. But surprisingly, the reaction was supportive. A wave of VTubers on Twitter began revealing their own face in solidarity. The hashtag Todos con Nimuvt, meaning everyone with Nimuvt, trended among the ES VTuber community.
Aww.
Many saw this.
Wait, that's actually really wholesome though. In a vacuum, the idea of a VTuber accidentally doxing themselves and then a bunch of other VTubers do it so they don't feel alone is very wholesome and sweet. The internet can be so cute sometimes.
Moment as a sign of bravery, not shame. In fact, Nimuvt made a video addressing the face reveal, which went on to become her most watched video up to date, racking up over 4.5 million
with her
views.
face.
But not everything about that moment was as wholesome as it seemed. Once her face was partially out there, fans quickly connected the dots and discovered a TikTok and an Instagram account under the name of Tinai, where Nimuvt was freely showing her face and body. She never claimed to be Nimuvt on those accounts, but the resemblance was undeniable. Same face, same voice, same exact tone. Content on those accounts leaned heavily into thirst trap territory, posing in lingerie, showing off her body, and lip-syncing to flirty audios. It wasn't not safe for work, but it was clearly designed to be provocative. And that's when people started asking questions. If this was all such an unfortunate accident, Why had she already been posting face and body content under another identity? Why was she making tweets in advance saying where she was going IRL, even when she was still supposed to be anonymous? Why did she have multiple on-stream accidents that exposed more and more about her? Some theorized that the face reveal was actually planned, a viral stunt to humanize her and build sympathy. Others went further, accusing her of deliberately baiting people to find her in real life by announcing her public outings and streaming anonymously at those locations. Whether or not that theory holds water is up for debate, but one thing is certain, this wasn't her only slip-up. Not long after the face reveal, Nimuvt started doing more content that blended her real body with her VTuber avatar's face, further blurring the line between character and person. That decision drew mixed reactions from the community, especially from fans who preferred the separation between VTuber identity and real-life presence. And then she had another slip-up.
¡No! ¡Era el más fácil! ¡Era el más fácil! ¡Te filtré la cara de nuevo! Nah, me chupa un huevo, igual, me chupa un huevo. Yo se me arreglo la cara.
I mean, look, I think creators can do what they want. If she wants to be part VTuber, part IRL streamer, I don't think that she should get hate for it. But it seems like maybe the way she did it was trying to make it like an accident or something. Yeah, announcing where you're going is absolutely not the thing to do. Like, there have been way too many issues with IRL streamers. Yeah, you should never announce where you're going. Like, you should never, ever, ever say where you're gonna be until you're, like, not gonna be there anymore.
Then there was the surgery story. At some point, Nimuvt told some people that she had undergone a dangerous stomach surgery, which led to speculations about her health. But later she revealed the truth. She had actually gotten an aesthetic surgery, an abdominoplasty, to reshape her stomach area. She eventually confirmed both the surgery and the Tiny accounts were hers, but the damage was done. Fans were just left confused about what was real and what was a calculated image decision. While this situation wasn't scandalous in the way her later controversies would be, it was the moment when fans began to seriously question her honesty. On March 1st, 2022...
it makes it easier for stalkers? Yeah, or anything. Like, even myself? Even me, and I'm such a small creator. I mean, like, I'm not even partnered on Twitch. Even me, I would never say where I'm gonna go before I go there. Ever. And you guys don't know what I look like. You know what I sound like. Maybe in a crowd you'd hear my voice. Maybe you'd recognize me, or maybe you'd think, oh, that sounds familiar, and not be able to place it. Like, I don't know. But I would never, ever, 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 ever say where I'm going to go until I've already gone there. Even like concerts I've gone to, like cafes or cities, like anywhere that I'm going, I pretty much don't ever tell anyone until after the fact, except for something like TwitchCon or like Offkai or something. If I was going there, I would say, but you know, because it's so big and you probably wouldn't be able to find me. But like, it's just, it doesn't matter what level of creator you are, or if you're not a creator at all and you're just someone that's posting on the internet, like in a personal channel that isn't private, a personal Instagram that's open to everyone, you should never say where you're gonna go, because you do not know what kind of weirdos are around. Yeah, I guess, you know, if you look for the spirit ball, if you're able to see the spirit ball, that would give it away. But good thing for me, most people can't see her.
Not long after her accidental face reveal, Nimuvt took things in an unexpected and deeply controversial direction. She announced the launch of an OnlyFans account. The announcement came with a teaser image of the legs and feet of her VTuber model, captioned simply with her OnlyFans link. The vague message, combined with the timing, right after her IRL identity was partially revealed, led many to believe she was hinting that the OnlyFans would be about her real body, not just her avatar. And then came the bait. Shortly after the teaser, Nimuvt posted a photo of pixelated real-life legs and feet, heavily implying they were hers. Fans went wild. It looked like she was taking the leap from VTuber to IRL content.
Interesting.
And yes, they were hoping for some spicy stuff. The buzz built up for nearly a week. Then on March 7, she went live to reveal the truth, with over 87,000 people watching.
Wow.
She rickrolled the entire audience. Not only was there no spicy content, but the pixelated legs weren't even hers. They were a joke. A pair of her male mod's hairy legs edited and filtered to look feminine. Fans were stunned.
So funny.
The hype crushed. The disappointment was palpable. Some viewers even claimed they paid or subscribed to her OnlyFans expecting actual content, but Nimuvt clarified that 1. She never enabled payment options, 2. Her OnlyFans page was rejected by the platform altogether, and 3, the entire thing was intended as a troll.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of funny. Better to be safe and secure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't care who you are. You should never talk about where you're going until after you've gone there. If it's a place you frequent, then you shouldn't talk about it, I think. Yeah. I feel like that's so funny. That site doesn't really accept VTubers. Oh, interesting. Oh, VTubers go on Fansly, don't they?
Technically, she didn't scam anyone. She didn't sell anything, and no adult content was ever promised outright, but that didn't stop the backlash. Thousands of people felt humiliated, misled, and mocked. Nimuvt brushed off the outrage, suggesting it was just people getting horny and mad over something that were never guaranteed. And maybe she was right. But in the eyes of her audience, this wasn't just a harmless prank.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe, because I think that it would be a funny troll, but you have to do it in the right way, I guess. And it sounds like maybe she didn't have the right atmosphere or attitude around it, so people were more upset than thinking it was funny.
It was another reminder that when it comes to trust, Nimuvt was always towing the line, sometimes literally. After laying low for a while, Nimuvt kept mostly to herself. Her exclusivity contract with Facebook Gaming came to an end, and she transitioned fully to streaming on Twitch, where she continued her regular content without much issue. That piece didn't last long. In mid-April 2023, she lit the community on fire again, this time over a tier list stream. The stream was supposed to be a lighthearted ranking of ES content creators, not just from Latin America, but from the broader Spanish-speaking internet. But the tone was anything but lighthearted. During the stream, Nimuvt repeatedly joked about cancellation. She sang, "I'm gonna get cancelled with this one," and laughed openly about the idea of getting dragged on Twitter. Even before the stream aired, she had already stirred controversy with a tweet where she said, "I don't know who to support. The hardest decision, do I betray my homeland or do I fuck off?" Attached to the post were 2 selfies, one with German Garmendia, a legendary ES creator who would later face some controversy of his own, and one with Kosku, who at the time had a very serious scandal publicly attached to his name. And that's where everything unraveled.
Wow.
While doing the tier list live, Nimuvt ranked Kosku and confidently declared, "Kosku is God." She went on to say she was a fan of his, even if she didn't watch his content regularly. The community instantly called her out because by that point, Kosku's name was already tainted with heavy accusations going back to 2020. And make no mistake, this was public knowledge. The details weren't buried in obscure channels. They were widespread across Twitter, YouTube, and ES commentary spaces. In 2020, Kosku was accused of taking advantage of a girl who was blackout drunk at his house.
Oh, shit.
According to multiple reports and leaked content, he allegedly slept with the girl while she was unconscious. He took a nude photo of her, clearly passed out in bed beside him, and sent it to a friend named Momo, who then leaked the image online. The image showed both Kosku and the girl naked. Just vile.
Oh my god, why would you leak that?
Multiple live stream while she was still at his house. In one of them, she is visibly asleep and unresponsive in his bed. He claimed on stream that she had been extremely drunk even before arriving, had vomited repeatedly, fallen downstairs, and hurt herself. He said he considered calling an ambulance but didn't. Instead, he streamed and asked his chat what to do while she lay unconscious behind him.
Okay. And that's how you know someone's been terminally online for too long. When they think, you know what, instead of just calling an ambulance for them, let me ask my chat what I should do. Let me create a stir, create a rumble, and ask my chat what I should do. It'll be so clickable. Like that is giving Logan Paul in that forest in Japan. Like, that's how you know someone is too online. They've surpassed. They need normie people to keep around them and like ground them, and they don't have that.
He also described how the girl was allegedly saying things to him in English like, "I need you" and "save me," while grabbing and scratching him in desperation. Again, his own words. So to this day, Coscu has never been held accountable in court, but the details and screenshots were, and still are, widely available online. The situation was extremely well known in the Latin community, and yet in the middle of all of this, Nimuvt stood by him. After the backlash from the tier list stream, Nimuvt claimed she didn't know about the allegations.
But this wild.
Didn't hold up under scrutiny, especially since she never once condemned Coscu after learning the full extent of the story. What made it even worse is that Coscu was later invited to La Velada del Año 3, a massive annual boxing event for Spanish content creators streamed on Twitch.
Side note, but why has everyone gotten into boxing? What is that about?
Fought German Garmendia as the main event and won. Afterwards, he was seen trash talking German, despite German still having a mostly clean reputation at the time. Nimuvt's praise of Coscu, especially while knowingly stacking him up against German, looked like a calculated move that ignored public ethics in favor of clout or personal bias.
Wow.
But for many in the community, this was the moment Nimuvt lost all credibility. Not because she had a bad take, but because she took the side of someone accused of sexual misconduct and abuse, laughed about getting cancelled, and never took responsibility for the platform she used to defend him. This wasn't just tone deaf. This was career suicide. On June 8, 2023, a former top donator of Nimuvt's named Rubes Cohen made a public call-out that would shake the foundations of her already damaged reputation. He wasn't just another angry fan. He was someone who had donated thousands, thought he was a friend, and like many others, had dreamed of becoming a VTuber. What followed was a story of exploitation, fake business dealings, financial ruin, and emotional devastation. Here's what happened. Rubes Cohen had been one of Nimuvt's most loyal supporters, donating thousands of dollars during her streams, enough to gain direct access to her DMs and inner circle. Over time, he believed they were becoming friends, and when he decided to pursue content creation himself, he thought Nimuvt would support him. And she did. Sort of. She introduced him to her quote-unquote agency through an official-looking email. The agency was called K's Agency SPA, and it was run by none other than her then-boyfriend and manager, Kenzo.
How many times is the boyfriend the manager? How many times is the boyfriend the quote-unquote manager? I want a count of this. I want a count. How many times is the boyfriend the quote-unquote manager? I swear, if they're not the manager, they're the mysterious roommate. And if they're not the roommate, they're the manager. Oh my god. I'm the boyfriend of dreamers? I played the fifth. But if they'll have me, sure. I'll be their internet manager boyfriend. I will protect them. I will shower them with love. I will give them hard advice, but then aftercare. And I will lurk in all their streams. I don't know. Sounds like a boyfriend to me.
At first, it all looked professional. He was given a price sheet, a full menu of services, and costs for working with Nimuvt. Twitter mentions, IG stories, hourly collaborates, and a special appearance in a series she was doing at the time called Un Dia Con, meaning a day with. And she would sell him this entire package for the mere cost of $28,000.
Oh my god.
Baffling. But wait, he was a top donator. So with some additional discounts applied, they offered him the full package for just $11,479. What a steal.
Wow.
But of course, he accepted. Rubs was asked to sign a contract and submit a copy of his ID, which effectively doxed him. At first, he was able to pay about 60% of the fee using PayPal. But then problems started. PayPal began flagging his account due to the high volume of international payments. He was still heavily donating to her stream at the time.
Wow.
And many of these donations were processed via Western Union, making the money non-refundable. When he tried to explain this delay to the agency, they didn't offer understanding. Instead, they threatened him. The contract had a penalty clause. If he couldn't pay on time, he would be charged a 200% late fee on the entire original price, not just the unpaid balance. The longer he stalled, the more pressure they applied. Even Kenzo himself began appearing in Rub's stream, telling him to answer his Discord messages and demanding more money. And the worst part, he still hadn't received most of what he paid for. By late 2022, Rubs finally contacted a lawyer to sort everything out, especially since he needed receipts for tax filing. But when they tried to get a receipt from Kay's agency, they discovered a massive problem. The agency didn't even legally exist.
Oh my God.
It wasn't registered as a business. It had 0 employees. There were no records of official operations. Kenzo had been pretending to represent a company with infrastructure, but it was just him fronting the whole thing. During his negotiations with the agency, Kenzo would often tell Rubs he needed to consult with the different departments of his agency, such as accounting and advertising. But when Rubs would ask for his invoices, he would always be left unanswered. Because, of course, these departments simply didn't exist. As for the contract they signed, not legally binding, of course, no digital signature, no official seal, and full of legal inconsistencies. Rubs had been scammed. And by then, he had paid over $13,000 USD.
Oh
when Rubs
my
finally
God.
confronted Kenzo and Nimuvt, he told them he would drop the whole thing if they simply returned his last payment of $3,500. Money for services he never received. Their answer? No. Because they couldn't guarantee he wouldn't sue them even if they gave him the
Imagine someone saying, hey, just give me back my last payment, 1/4 of what I've given you, and I'll just drop it. And they say, nah. Nah. Oh my God. You can give it over and have him sign a legally binding document. Imagine me giving Riri $28,000. That would be actually insane. Actually insane. I don't think that I try to think, I'm like thinking, like, what would it feel like if someone just like came into chat and dropped $28,000? That's like a little under half of like a median American salary. Like, that is a lot of money. I think that I would think it's fake, like some sort of like a bug or something. And I feel like I would just immediately put it into my savings in case, like out of fear that something bad was gonna happen, you know? But there's no shot. Has anyone ever given someone that much money at once? I don't know. Seems kind of crazy.
money back. Kenzo just offered him a $1,200 refund out of the $3,500 they owed him, which of course Rubs refused. In private DMs, Rubs tried reaching out to Nimuvt directly, hoping she would help, or at least acknowledge that she was lied to the situation. But her response, "Sort it out with the company, I already gave you my services." She refused to take responsibility even though her boyfriend had acted on her behalf, using her brand, her image, and her connections. To make it up to him, she offered him more streams and collabs. But by then, Rubs was done. He didn't even want to be a streamer anymore. The emotional toll of it all eventually pushed Rubs past his limit. According to his own words, in April 2023, he attempted to take his own life due to the intense stress, financial pressure, and harassment he faced during and after the ordeal. He later shared publicly that he entered therapy and begun legal proceedings, not just to reclaim his losses, but to regain control of his life after being exploited by the very creator he once admired.
Wow.
It wasn't just a scam for him. It was a betrayal that nearly cost him everything. On May 18, just before Rubs made everything public, he and Nimuvt had a private conversation. Nemo would later claim that Rubs exposed the situation for clout and to gain fame, but the reality is Rubs never even capitalized off the drama. He stopped streaming, his Twitter account went quiet, and he quietly returned to his old life, clearly just wanting to move on. In her video response, which has since been taken down, Nemo played choppy, edited audio fragments of their call, where she came off defensive and aggressive, seemingly more concerned with how the situation would affect her image than how it had affected Rubs emotionally or financially.
You've seen some streamers, when they get $50 at once, they'll assume it was a mistake and refund. Yeah, I don't really, like, I've gotten big donations. Like, people have given, like, 200,000 bits before. When I got laid off, I got a lot of donations that helped support me. And, like, I was really surprised by that. I was really touched, obviously, and really surprised. Because, again, like, who am I? I'm nobody. But, like, that's not a normal thing for me at all. And that was 2 years ago now. That was, the beginning of 2023, I think? Yeah, the beginning of 2023. So I'm very thankful that people helped me when I needed it, you know? And, like, help is always valuable, especially when you're small. I mean, you know, it supports people who do it full time. Like, it's their livelihood. But especially when you're small, yeah, if anything, just getting donations to help me when I was in a bad place, like, I would take what I got then over, like, continuing to get donations and stuff now, because it made a really big difference. It was the only reason I was able to pay my rent, like, for 2 months. Yeah, so I was really thankful for that. It's not something that I really get. Like, I don't get money like that anymore. I like to think, I hope to think that other people who need it are getting it, you know? Some people refund their donations. Yeah, I don't entirely know how it works either. So that's why I think, like, there's like a certain amount of days, I think, that you're supposed to leave it in PayPal to make sure it doesn't get refunded. Yeah, I would message them since it's such a big amount and find a safe and secure way to send it. Yeah, that's probably better. Or you send it in bits at a time, you know? Like, you send in smaller increments. Yeah.
He also made a telling claim. He was the only one willing to pay for my services. Nemo had knowingly profited from this one transaction, and when it all unraveled, she washed her hands of it. And what's worse, even after everything they put him through, she had effectively scrubbed his appearance in that one stream where he was supposed to be featured.
Wow.
Now, one of the most disturbing parts of Nemo's story came not from trolling or shady contracts, but from something far more personal and far more damaging. During her relationship with her then manager and boyfriend Kenzo, Nemo would go on to make a devastating claim that he had been physically abusive towards her. She told this not just to one person, but to multiple people in her personal circle. She even sent photos of bruises as supposed evidence of the abuse, creating what looked like a serious, dangerous situation. But here's the truth. In a later private voice message, and then again in a September 2023 podcast, Nemo admitted it was all a lie. The bruises, not the result of violence. They came from consensual intimacy, and she fabricated the story because, in her own words, she wanted attention?
Oh my God.
She wasn't in danger. She was just furious, jealous, and emotionally spiraling. According to her own later admission, she fabricated the entire abuse narrative because her boyfriend had been talking to other girls and she wanted attention.
Holy
in fact,
shit.
She confessed that her jealousy got so bad that she broke his laptop during one of their arguments.
Oh my
She
God.
described herself as being toxic, angry, and emotionally unstable throughout much of that relationship. Then, in September 2023, Nemo releases a video pitched as her big truth-telling moment, her final confession.
Wow.
Nemo tried to reframe everything she'd been accused of, not by denying it, but by separating herself from her actions. Her explanation? Nemo is just a character. Sophia is the real person.
Oh my
This
God.
statement became the foundation of her defense. That much of what people had criticized wasn't actually her, but a fictionalized persona she played for the internet.
That's fucked
She
up.
implied that Sophia, the real person behind the screen, was different, more vulnerable, emotionally damaged, and misunderstood. She admitted she had jealousy issues, frequent emotional outbursts, and described herself as an angry, unstable person during her relationship with Kenzo. She confirmed the false abuse claim we talked about earlier, and explained how it all stemmed from feeling betrayed and financially trapped in a relationship where she was the only one bringing in income. She also openly spoke about how she had to move from Argentina to Chile to be with Kenzo, who was younger than her, 25 and 19 respectively. How they had no place to live, bounced between Airbnbs, and even had to stay with his parents for 5 months due to money problems. Throughout all of this, she continued reinforcing the narrative that her past actions, whether it was the spicy Facebook, the OnlyFans Rickroll, or the Cosco tier list debacle, were decisions made by someone acting out of desperation, not malice. What came next would become a pivotal moment in Nimuvt's career.
Dude, that's not an excuse. But like, the defense that, oh, this is a character I play and not how I feel is not a defense. That's giving, oh, I was drunk, so I wasn't like in my right mind. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Sorry. Being drunk isn't an excuse for anything that you say or do. Because being drunk just takes away your inhibitions and like you think less. Like, you're not gonna go out and murder someone because you're drunk. If you murder someone while you're drunk, you just happen to be drunk and you kill somebody. Like, you're not gonna say shit as Nimuvt because you're putting on an act. Like, Nimuvt's just giving you the mask to say and do what you want, you know?
But for all the wrong reasons. In September 2023, Nimuvt appeared on a podcast to debate Dallas, a notoriously controversial Spanish YouTuber who had previously criticized her over the Rubes Cohen incident. Things had already started escalating when Dallas uploaded a video featuring a thumbnail that suggested Nimuvt had scammed not just Rubes, but Dallas too. Seeing the thumbnail, Nimuvt was furious. She believed it would paint her as a serial scammer and feared the damage it could do to her already fragile public image. Ironically, she admitted once that she had grown up watching Dallas. She had even been a fan of his. That changed quickly once he DM'd her and later dropped his expose. The debate covered nearly every major controversy in her career, with both sides pushing back hard. One of the
Oh, do you know Dallas now though? I'm not familiar with the ES scene, so I've never heard of them.
The standout moments came when Dallas pressed her about her infamous Cosco is God tweet. At first, she said it was just a snarky jab she made while going through a rough patch, citing a breakup, burnout, and a noticeable drop in her viewership. But as the pressure mounted, she ultimately admitted it was a mistake and publicly condemned Cosco's action for the first time, saying she no longer supported him. She also opened up in detail about her past relationship with her ex-boyfriend and former manager. They met through another creator, moved in together, and she made him her manager during her rapid rise to fame. At first, he helped her secure sponsorships and pitch content ideas, but things quickly unraveled. She admitted she mishandled money, didn't understand the business side of things, and that eventually he stopped managing her altogether. The financial situation got so bad they had to move into his parents' home. Later they lived together again, but by then she was footing all of the bills while he pursued music in Chile and Miami. The stress fractured their relationship. Accusations of cheating, shouting matches, and jealousy spirals. He in turn also accused her of cheating too. At her lowest, Nimuvt confessed to calling a friend and saying she was going to jump into a river. In that same breakdown, she falsely accused her ex of physical abuse, even sending bruised photos for proof. It was also in that very same podcast she had admitted to fabricating the abuse claims because she was desperate for attention. The phone call eventually had gotten leaked, forcing her to publicly defend her ex and admit the truth. There was even a strange moment during the debate where she mentioned being given a possibly laced cookie by him, but the topic was brushed off and never explored further.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how relationships like that can really evolve and be a negative thing. Because I imagine, like, based on what they were saying about how big Nimuvt was, she was making a lot of money, it sounds like. Like, she was making a decent amount of money. But if you don't know what to do with it, which clearly she didn't, and then you're footing, like, you're supporting two people while someone, like, going into music is not cheap. So she's footing all these bills and not, like, probably properly saving or preparing for taxes and shit. Like, yeah, I imagine that's pretty stressful. He's a huge problem in the Spanish community. Oh, Dallas. Okay. He made all his brand around children, so all his followers are extremely devoted to him. He can make whatever he wants and his followers always support him. He's extremely toxic in the community, looking out for drama all the time. Not much time ago, Dallas scammed his own followers with crypto. So he's like a drama streamer. Like he just he's a drama face tuber. It sounds like.
Later in the episode, the conversation shifted to the Rubs Cohen situation. Nimuvt explained that the now infamous $30,000 price tag was never meant to be serious. She said it was a bait tactic meant to be crossed out with a discount, a common marketing trick, putting a big number on her service. It initially started as a $28,000 price tag, which was then rounded to 30,000s by other YouTubers who wanted to make it more clickbaity. According to her, it wasn't her idea, but she admitted that ultimately she was responsible. She thought she had settled things with Rubs privately, so when he released his public call-out, it completely caught her off guard. Throughout the podcast, Nimuvt shifted between confession and justification. She said she was sorry. She said she was going to therapy. She said she was trying to get better. But when asked if she regretted any of it, she said no. Because in her view, she learned from everything, good or bad. Things got even messier after the podcast. Despite ending the interview on seemingly good terms with Dallas, she later claimed that Dallas had threatened her, even though there was no public evidence of that. So what had actually happened? It seems that Dallas got wrapped up in an unrelated crypto scandal, and Nimuvt tried to distance herself by throwing out the threatening claim. Then shortly after that, she entered a relationship with Delox, the owner of the podcast channel that hosted the debate. The problem, he was still in a relationship with someone else at the time.
Oh, God.
Allegedly, he began trash-talking his ex publicly while starting things with Nimuvt. And together, they started attacking Dallas again, a complete 180 from the "we're good now" tone Nimuvt had said just weeks earlier. So what should have been a redemption moment only led to more chaos for Nimuvt.
Jeez.
More lies, more contradiction, and the worst was yet to come. If things weren't already out of control for Nimuvt, the events of October 2024 took everything to a level that even her most loyal defenders struggled to justify. That month, Spanish YouTuber Dallas uploaded a video that reignited everything. In the video, he spoke directly with Kenzo, Nimuvt's ex-boyfriend and former manager. What Kenzo had to say was explosive. According to Kenzo, Nimuvt had frequent emotional outbursts to the point where the police were called to their home multiple times. He claimed she once attacked him with a knife, completely naked, and that he had to record the incident for his own protection. He also described her as manipulative and controlling, saying she would threaten suicide if he ever tried to leave or return to his home country without her. And he confirmed that they lived with his parents for a time because they had no money, and allegedly Nimuvt was completely dependent on him for basic tasks like doing laundry or managing household responsibilities. These claims, whether exaggerated or not, lined up disturbingly well with the same behaviors Nimuvt had already admitted to. Jealousy, emotional instability, outburst, and manipulation. But then came a claim that crossed a line most people weren't ready for.
Oh shit, I'm ready for this.
Kenzo alleged that Nimuvt had once confessed to him in private that she had engaged in inappropriate acts with an animal. Specifically,
what the fuck?
A Yorkshire Terrier, while they were still in a relationship.
What the fuck?
He claimed she told him this directly, and that it left him so disturbed he couldn't continue the relationship. He also claimed she had been exposed to this kind of content as a child due to her father's alleged possession of illegal DVDs, which were later discovered during a police raid, resulting in her father's arrest. It's good to note that none of these claims have been independently verified, and there's still no public evidence, only Kenzo's word. But the detail, the timing, and emotional weight of the allegations shattered what little was left of Nimuvt's public image.
Jesus.
Even people who had once supported her went silent. After the video was released, Nimuvt responded by saying she would report both Kenzo and Dallas for defamation. She said she didn't care if Kenzo was trying to scam Dallas, it still damaged her image and her family's reputation. Dallas in return mocked her, nicknaming her Zufia in reference to the disturbing claims, and even tagged the Andorran government asking for her deportation, claiming she was in the country illegally. Meanwhile, her current boyfriend Delox, the podcast host she had started dating, was now being accused of being a scammer and a xenophobe, despite previously presenting himself as a supporter of Latin American creators. There were also unconfirmed claims that Delox, Nimu's boyfriend at the time, had previously referred to her as emotionally abusive in private, but later denied it publicly, allegedly under pressure or incentive. This was also never confirmed. There has also never been a resolution between the Dallas/Nimuvt feud, or no updates on the lawsuit. This entire situation is absolute chaos.
Yeah, it's so messy.
Contradictions, accusations, and then silence. No redemption arc in sight. From Facebook meme pages to 1 million subscribers, from record-breaking VTuber growth to one of the most toxic downfalls in the ES community. Nimuvt's story is unlike any other in VTubing history. She wasn't just caught in controversy, she was at the center of every one of them. Some say she was a victim of bad people, others say she used her trauma as a weapon, she lied, she manipulated, and she betrayed, but she also opened up, confessed, and in her own words, learned from everything she did. So here's the real question. Was Nimuvt destroyed by the pressure of her own success, or was she always the villain behind the screen? Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. This has got to be my most requested video. I know a lot of you guys in the comments have been asking for this, and I finally got it. A massive shout out to everyone who helped put this together, especially the folks in my Discord server who helped with translations, research, and general sanity throughout this absolute rabbit hole. Seriously, if you want to be part of the madness or help build the next deep dive, we're over at discord.gg/Rima. And it's honestly turning into a really supportive little space. If you enjoyed the video, smash that like button, hit subscribe so we can reach that 100K subscriber milestone.
Subscribe and like if I ever watch a video on stream.
Patreon for bonus
because I feel like it's the least I can do.
Yes, all patrons get their names immortalized in my bloopers forever.
That's
Thank
crazy.
You again for
I
watching,
can't believe.
And as always, never trust a pixelated pair of legs again. And lingerie. Posing in lingerie, showing off her body, and lip syncing. I can't read this. Crap. Attached to the post were two selfies. One with German, very serious scandal publicly. I'm just gonna remove that. That's too repetitive. Frequent emotional outburst. And described herself as an angry, unstable person during her guess meant to be her big, honest moment where she had
Wait, the little bloopers at the end are cute. I like that, Rima. That's very cute. Some people are just evil and dig their own graves. I also think some people just when you get fame and money and popularity, I think it ruins a lot of people. Yeah, I feel like it ruins a lot of people, you know?